Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka MAZUMA TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're going to be speaking about Ilia Topuria being exposed by Justin Gaethje. We're going to be speaking about why MMA fighters hate boxers. Then, of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics. But before we get into all of that, if y'all could please hit the like button on the way in, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,500 mark. Looking to crack that 3,600 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. Big shout out to everybody that's been showing love to the channel, liking the videos, hyping the videos. That definitely gets our channel a lot of exposure, a lot of attention. You see what I'm saying? And this is going to be a little bit of a different topic today because, to be honest with you, I'm not somebody who is too engaged in the MMA world. I'm not somebody who watches MMA often. But, I feel like this whole situation between MMA and boxing is out of pocket, to be honest with you. And I really feel like this is something that needs to be stopped going back and forth about. You know what I mean? And we're going to expose some realities. We just going to call it right down the middle. We're going to call a spade, and we're going to continue moving. You feel what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody that's in the comments thus far. Shout out to Marissa. What's going on, Marissa? It's good to see you, as always. Chris Maldonado, my high school brother. What up, bro? What's going on? How we feeling? Go 787. What up? You know what I mean? I took the time to actually watch that White House event. You know what I'm saying? I seen that there was some boxers in the building. Terence Crawford. I seen Tyson Fury. I seen Conor Benn. There was a few people. There might have been some people that I missed, but, those are the people that stood out to me as I was watching it. It makes sense. Zuffa Boxing, these guys, are affiliated with Turki Al-Sheikh. Turki Al-Sheikh is affiliated with Zuffa. Dana White is basically the one who is the face of Zuffa Boxing. He's the face. He's the one running the operations behind the scenes, from what I understand. So it would make sense as to why these guys they're coming out to support. And it was a historical event. Like, how many events could you really say took place on the fucking lawn of the White House? Like, you don't really ever see anything like that. That was a once in a lifetime experience. So I get why people came out. And I watched the card, most of it. You know what I mean? I did fall asleep like right around the time Sean O'Malley fought. And then I ended up waking up around like 6 a.m. And I was fucking surprised to find out that Topuria actually lost. You know what I mean? Like, he actually lost to Justin Gaethje. And I knew that it was a possibility. We definitely going to speak about that. I wasn't surprised that Alex Pereira lost. I was already picking Cyril Gane to beat him. I just knew that Alex Pereira was totally out of his weight limit. I see he came in extremely heavy. He looked sluggish. He looked slow. His reflexes looked trash. And Cyril Gane, however you want to feel about him getting choked out by John Jones, who's the greatest of all time, regardless of how the way you feel about Cyril Gane, having that controversial fight with Tom Aspinall with the eye pokes and shit like that, you can feel however you want to feel about Cyril Gane, but that motherfucker could fight. And it wasn't like Cyril Gane had to worry about takedowns from Alex Pereira. Pereira liked to bang. You feel what I'm saying? He one of them guys like Ilia Topuria, who's in love with their power, you know what I mean? And, they'll do whatever they can to try to get the knockout, even if it means undermining, certain abilities that they have. But regardless, let me see. Go 787 said, actually, Roosevelt used to hold boxing events at the White House, and he even fought in those, losing his eyesight. I didn't even know that. That's actually great to know. I'm going to definitely do some research on that. Shout out to Go 787 for the education. Jay, what up? Lorenzo and the motherfucking Benzo, what up? How we feeling? So anyways, man, I was actually chopping it up with one of my MMA homies. Shout out to the homie Pierre, kickboxer. I think he actually did Muay Thai, but whatever. He did Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and all of that shit. So he always keeps me in the loop with what's going on in MMA. And he actually has a big MMA page by the name of Pierre MMA. So me, he comes to my gym and we be talking about it all the time. And we both agreed that Cyril Gane was going to beat Alex Pereira. We knew that. And then, we was a little bit iffy about Justin Gaethje's chances in beating Ilia Topuria, just because, Gaethje has come off of some bad losses, knockout losses. And I do think that his best years are behind him. I think there's a lot of wear and tear on Justin Gaethje. And I didn't really feel like he had what it took to beat the the young, fresh, confident Ilia Topuria. But I sat back and I watched. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about me, I'm definitely not a hardcore MMA fan. You know what I mean? I know a little bit, here and there. I know about certain fighters, Loved Anderson Silva, loved John Jones, loved GSP. I was a fan of all those guys, even Khabib. And I enjoyed the Conor McGregor era as well. But I would never say that I'm a hardcore boxing fan. But one thing about me that I think is actually one of my strongest attributes is understanding the fighter's mind. The negative parts, the positive parts. I'm one of them motherfuckers that could tell you if they're confident, if they're overcompensating, with their confidence to try to, hide some sort of insecurities. I could tell you if a fighter pussy. I could tell you these things. And do I think Topuria is pussy? No. Not at all. But I've seen this playbook with Topuria time and time again, where they start to believe that they shit don't stink. I see this in boxing. I seen this in MMA. My apologies, y'all. God damn, y'all. I cannot get myself right to save my fucking life. It's like my body knows when I'm about to go live, so it just does all this fuck shit. Why? I don't know. My apologies for that. I had people complaining in the comments. What's wrong, man? You sick? I'm like, bro, like, you think I want to be? But whatever. Anyways, one thing about me is I'm really, really good at understanding the fighter's mindset, understanding their psyche, right? And look, man, I've been watching boxing for years. So I know when a fighter is overconfident, if they feel like they shit don't stink, if they feel like like fighters over time, especially when they have a bunch of yes men around them, or they just start feeling themselves, they develop this type of God complex. One of the earliest examples that I can remember is Ronda Rousey. If we're talking about MMA, Ronda Rousey was a fucking beast at judo. She breaking bitches' arms, just doing some phenomenal shit. And a lot of people started to, back her play, push her because, she was a little pink person that was out here whooping ass. Whenever, pink people get somebody that can actually fight or got some momentum on their side, they go all in. You know what I'm saying? They put her on the Ring magazine cover. She never did a boxing match. So you got the boxing side of the world trying to, invest in Ronda Rousey and shit like that. Like, it was disgusting, to be honest with you. And, you got dumbass people like Joe Rogan coming out and saying shit like, if you put Ronda Rousey and Floyd Mayweather in the dark alley, and it's just dumb, Ronda Rousey's going to kick Floyd's ass. Like, saying all this stupid shit that we all knew wasn't true, but they were just all in it. And I was telling people, I'm like, yo, like, and then I think I seen Ronda Rousey get like one knockout with striking. And it looked horrible, to be honest with you. Like, it wasn't a clean performance whatsoever from a striking standpoint, in my opinion, as a boxing coach. But from then on, Ronda Rousey started to believe her own hype. And she started to feel like she was like this actual puncher. She shadow boxing, looked absolutely terrible. I remember she was doing the shadow boxing like this. You know what I'm saying? And she really thought she was doing something and all that. I'm like, yo, Ronda really thinks she the shit. Right? So then I remember this was a long time ago. My pop don't even remember this shit. Because I had asked him about it. But I remember she was officially announced to fight Holly Holm. Now, I wasn't too familiar with women's boxing at the time. But my pop had told me who Holly Holm was. He was like, yo, bro, like she was a world champion in boxing. And I always said that Ronda Rousey's going to be in trouble with somebody who has some type of boxing ability just because she just fell in love with her striking and shit. I'm like, she's terrible. The moment she runs into a boxer, she's going to be assed out. And boom, they line her up with Holly Holm, We all know how that fucking ended. And we literally saw a God complex deteriorate right in front of our very eyes. And how vulnerable they were was exposed to the world for millions of people to see. And Ronda Rousey was never the same after this, ladies and gentlemen. We all know this. Not saying that this is Ilia Topuria whatsoever. We about to see what he built like now. This is the first time he ever took a loss in a professional setting, for what I understand. But Holly Holm, she was never. Ronda Rousey, she was never the same. She took a long layoff. She was crying on TV. She had teeth loose from Holly Holm hitting her, as if you're not in the fucking combat sports game. Like, these things can happen. She was like, "Oh, Holly Holm's not gonna hit me with the head kick. She's not gonna catch me with a head kick. She puts you down and knocks you unconscious with a head kick, and then ground and pounded you until the ref pulled her up off of you." She disappeared for a little while. She came back against Amanda Nunes, and Amanda Nunes put the nail in the coffin. That took all the fighting spirit up out of her. You could tell she was mentally fragile going into the Amanda Nunes fight, refusing interviews and shit like that. Like, I saw the fragility mentally in the lead up to that fight. She was like a ticking time bomb. Like, like her aura was just completely gone. You feel what I'm saying? So anyways, I brought up that example to let you know that we've seen this happen before. And this is a very almost identical situation to Ilia Topuria, right? Because when I heard of Ilia Topuria, I was hearing that he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he had really good grappling skills, and they said that he could wrestle too. So I'm like, okay, he's a well-rounded guy. You know what I'm saying? Then I seen him transition to this style that was more boxing centered. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of these guys at MMA, they can't box to save their life. So when they're in there with somebody who actually has sharp hands, throwing body shots and sharp combinations, that could be overwhelming for them. And over time, we've seen Ilia Topuria have a lot of success with that style, get a lot of crazy knockouts. And I think that's what made him fall in love with that. And what I always tell people is that one of the most dangerous things a fighter, boxing or MMA, one of the worst things that they could figure out is that they have power. Because almost every person, and shout out to the ones who humble enough to know that power isn't everything, but there's people who, once they figure out they have some type of power, that's all they care about. They don't care to work on defense. They don't claim they don't work on technique. They don't work on their boxing. They don't work on their movement. Like, nothing. Everything is centered around power. That's all that matters when they fall in love. It's like, how they say love is blind? For boxers, the love of their power can blind them to things that are just as important, if not more important. And we've seen it happen with like Deontay Wilder. We've seen that with a lot of people. You can even make a case for Gervonta Davis. You know what I'm saying? I think that he thought that his power was going to catch up to Lamont Roach, and he found out real quick that wasn't the case. Deontay Wilder ran into Fury. He found out that wasn't the case. And they always get exposed. And what was so crazy was, and I didn't believe in Gaethje. I didn't believe in Gaethje initially. Marky Dan, what up? Sean Terrence, what up? I didn't believe in Ralph, what up? I didn't believe in Gaethje initially, right? And after watching the fight, I didn't come to this conclusion that Justin Gaethje's just on a different level than Ilia Topuria. Absolutely not. This was an example of feeding into your own hype and not respecting the man that's in front of you. That's how I take it. You feel what I'm saying? Now, to go into Ilia Topuria's style, he developed a more boxing center style. And what I was trying to say is that one of the worst things you can figure out is that you got power because you don't seem to work on anything else. I even heard guys that were so in love with their power that they act like it was impossible for them to be knocked out because they were such ferocious punchers. Bro, just because you are a ferocious puncher does not mean that you have a granite chin. That does not mean that you could take what they're dishing out. And they always assume that they're just going to get you first. It's not always the case. Julian Jackson, one of the hardest punchers in boxing history, he done got knocked out I don't know how many times. Gerald McClellan, one of the hardest punchers pound for pound in boxing history. Look what happened to him. Look how many times Deontay Wilder got stopped. Just because you got power does not mean that shots don't come back and can hurt you just as bad. And Juan Lopez, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great example, Lorenzo. So y'all get where I'm going with this. So I was telling my homie, I'm like, yo, this dude's so in love with his power, my homie Pierre, that the moment that somebody is able to take his punching power, mind you, this is what I said. I said this the week of the fucking fight. The moment that Ilia Topuria runs into somebody that could take his power and can hit and can affect them with their punching power, he's in trouble. And I knew Justin Gaethje had the fucking power because I heard everybody that he fought say that. I heard Khabib say that motherfucker hit like a truck. He said his kicks, his punches, everything about Justin Gaethje fucking hurt. And Khabib was like, bro, I had it. Like, when he hit me with that one leg kick, I had to shoot for the takedown. It was just too much. That's Khabib. Them niggas be them Dagestani's be tough as nails. So I was like, yo, Justin Gaethje is capable, but at this point in his career, I don't know if he has what it takes to get rid of Topuria, who, had at the time less wear and tear than Justin Gaethje, who was fresher, younger, in his prime. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching the fight, right? And the first thing I see, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker. I was like, let me see it, because I was rooting for Topuria. I was like, hopefully he could bring out like a well-rounded game. He show some jiu-jitsu, takedowns, whatever the case is. Hopefully it just ain't all boxing because you're giving Gaethje the opportunity to land some shit on you. So I'm watching the fight, and what I'm seeing Topuria doing, hands up tight, a little bit of, like subtle head movement here and there, but he's walking to Gaethje. I said, this is a very dangerous situation. This is a very dangerous situation, right? So I see Justin Gaethje pop a simple jab, bang, simple John, hit Ilia Topuria right eye. From then on, I knew something wasn't right because as soon as he got jabbed there, boom, Topuria started going like this. So I said, okay, either his vision is blurred off of that shot or he's bleeding. Next thing you know, his eye is pouring, and that's off of one jab. I said, okay, that's not good. I said, that's not good. So then, the fight proceeds, and, Justin Gaethje's landing some sharp counters on Topuria. Topuria is loading up and shooting these big shots, and Topuria, Justin Gaethje, he's a very heavy-handed guy. So even if he nicks you with a shot, it's going to have some type of effect on you. They have 4-ounce gloves on, people. That's damn near bare knuckle. I heard they got a small wrap, then they got the fucking small-ass 4-ounce gloves on there. So he was catching them with like little hook counters and right hands and jabs and shit like that. And Topuria's face started to break up immediately. So then we go into, and that was a close round. That was a close round. Gaethje was getting hit with some shit too. This wasn't a one-sided ass whooping whatsoever. So then the second round comes around. Topuria started having some success. I'm seeing him hurt Gaethje to the body. He's ripping these shots, and Gaethje looked like he was ready to go at one point in time. But one thing about Gaethje, he's a tough motherfucker. That nigga right there, that's a adorable motherfucker right there, boy. Because one thing about Topuria, he ripped them body shots. He has beautiful technique behind them body shots, man. The way he gets it, the way it is beautiful. How the way he shifts, he rotates them hips into them shots. He's getting full power on them shots, and the average motherfucker not taking them shots. But Justin was hurt. Justin went down, and Gaethje spent. In my opinion, Topuria used a lot of energy trying to get like the submissions and all that grappling and shit like that. So now it's the end of the second round. Topuria broken up a little bit. Probably a little fatigued off of that second round. Now we going into the third. So I think at the third round, and I could be wrong, everything was cool. And then Gaethje drops a fucking bomb, a nasty one too, on Ilia Topuria. Mind you, Ilia Topuria couldn't see out of the right eye. This is according to him, not me. Then he gets cracked with a right hand. That right hand touches the left eye. Now Topuria can't see from neither eye. Topuria, from what I heard, has broken orbital bones. You feel what I'm saying? Broken orbital bones. From there, Gaethje had a great round. He hurt Topuria real bad. Topuria held on for as long as he could. At the end of the third round, going into the fourth, they were trying to stop it. They were trying to stop it. The doctor was trying to see what was going on with his eyes. His eyes wasn't keeping up because at the end of the day, Topuria couldn't fucking see, and the doctor saw that. So they should have really waved off the fight from there, to be honest with you. If the nigga can't see, why the fuck are you throwing him out there? But it's the White House event. Donald Trump sitting there. So, you know, if the fighter had to take more punishment for, you know, Mr. President's, leisure, then why not? Dumb shit. Dumb shit. So now the fourth round comes out. I think this is the fourth round. The fourth round comes out. You know, they both had their back and forth. Ilia Topuria showing heart and shit like that. You know, I think Topuria shoots a takedown. I think Gaethje stuffs it. And what really, in my opinion, took all the fight out of Ilia Topuria was that knee to his ribs. Most likely he broke his fucking ribs or whatever the case is. It was a devastating shot. And you could tell, you know, Topuria was in a lot of pain with how the way he brought that elbow in after the fact and how slow he was to get up. And then once he got on that stool, there was no getting up. Broken orbitals, can't fucking see, shit ton of pain, probably got broken ribs. You know, a lot of people say Ilia Topuria quit. I just think the nigga got beat. And niggas get broken there. I don't give a fuck how strong you is. Everybody got a limit. You will get broke in that motherfucker. And I think that was the right time to stop it. They should have stopped it in the third, to be honest with you. If the nigga can't see, why are you putting it back out there? Because Donald Trump watching. Okay. Because this is the White House event. Okay. So Trump being there mean more to y'all than the safety, you know, of a fighter. Okay. So anyways, Topuria gets his ass whooped. That nigga Armand won like 5 M's, betting $1 million on Gaethje. He said he gonna buy the nigga a truck. Shit like that. That was wild. But maybe Armand seen what I saw. And it was an extreme level of arrogance on Ilia Topuria's behalf. He was just so sure that he was going to knock Justin out in 1 round, that we wasn't going to see the second and third round. Well, guess what, nigga? You ain't see the fifth. You ain't see the fifth. And, you know, La Leyenda Invicta, so that means like the undefeated legend or some shit like that. And he already had put 18-0 on his IG bio. Then, like, the arrogance, you know, the rose with the rose next to Justin Gaethje's picture, you know, and there's nothing wrong with a little bit of promotion, but you could clearly see that he doesn't think much of Justin Gaethje, which is the last thing you should do at a high level in any combat sport. Then what was crazy to me was the nigga got a tattoo on his rib cage, and he had like names, which I think is weird to tattoo another nigga's name on your body. That's just weird to me. But, you know, whatever. The names of the people that he's beat with their name crossed out as if it's a checklist. And, you know, he already had Gaethje's name tattooed and crossed out. Why would you do that? There's no other reason for that besides arrogance. There's no other reason to do that besides you underestimating somebody and an extreme level of arrogance. Now, what topped everything off to let me know that this dude looked at Gaethje as an absolute joke was the party. It was the party. John Jones did that shit. Yeah, that nigga's a psychopath, though. And there are some exceptions to the rule. John Jones found it so easy to defeat these guys at MMA that he needed something to do that'll give him some type of motivation to fight or something to concern him so he could be more motivated for his fight. That nigga's a psychopath. I can't speak on John Jones. That nigga is different. Straight like that. John Jones' mentality gives sociopath. He one of them paths. I don't know if the nigga's a psychopath. I don't know if he's a sociopath. I'm leaning towards socio, but whatever. I can't speak for John Jones. What the fuck he did worked for him, right? And the nigga done beat everybody and their mom. Trick said Daniel Dubois party. That's exactly what Ilia Topuria did. And we seen what happened to Daniel Dubois. This nigga was partying the day of his fight with Usyk. You had the biggest fight of your life right now. You partying? What the fuck are you celebrating? What are you celebrating? The job not done yet. Didn't Kobe tell y'all niggas that? The job ain't done yet. It ain't over till it's over. And I heard Ilia Topuria grab that motherfucking microphone and speak in his language and said something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, of course, the victory doesn't need to be earned. Like we already got it. Like we won already. There's no need to earn the victory because we already have it. Huh? Since when did you ever? Just somebody need to ask Ilia this. When's the last time that you got a victory before you stepped into the octagon? When? It's impossible. You can't claim a victory if you ain't never catch no wreck with the nigga. You stupid. What are you doing? So everybody's looking at this. I see Alexander Usyk, and I don't know what's up with him because you arguably underestimated your last opponent. So why would you even enable this nigga or be around this nigga to celebrate any type of victory with him when he hasn't fucking got it yet? Job not finished. The being himself, absolutely. And that shit applies to everything in life. If you haven't taken the steps to get it done yet, don't assume that it's done. It's not done. You have to go get it. You have to go get it. Nobody's gonna give you shit. I don't give a fuck how good you are. If you beat Volkanovski and you beat Max Holloway and nigga, you could defeat everybody in your division. You could be the greatest of all time, nigga. Until you beat that man that's been prepping to beat you, you didn't. The victory not yours. You need to go earn it. Every time you fight, you gotta earn that shit. Straight like that. So when I seen this nigga was already celebrating a victory that he didn't get, I'm like, oh, this dude really underestimating Gaethje. Like he just think that he's like so superior. And I'm like, yo, like Gaethje, he done had some ups and downs in his career. But there ain't nobody to just be playing with like that. Like Gaethje's dangerous, bro. He's dangerous. And then, he's trying to play, because, Gaethje ain't the most, sharp, the most, intelligent, speaker. He's not the most well-spoken guy. So, like, you trying to downplay him and, oh, you saying this, but I'm saying that. Like, it is, oh, my God, Ilia's killing Justin Gaethje with the trash talk, bro. Anybody could do that to Justin Gaethje, respectfully. Any nigga could out-talk Justin Gaethje, but guess what? That nigga a real dog. You got to go handle that. So I didn't really understand that shit, bro. Ilia Topuria really embarrassed himself. And to be honest with you, I don't think Justin Gaethje better than Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria, in my opinion, beat himself. I think he beat himself last night. I think he beat himself. You had an extreme level of arrogance. You had this God complex. And Justin Gaethje had to beat that shit up out you to understand that you are not God. You are not above anyone. You got to work. And I'm not saying he didn't train hard. I'm sure he said he had the best camp of his life. And he probably did. But the mindset that you brought into that camp and into the octagon is what led you to have the performance that you did. Your mindset, your arrogance is why you got beat the fuck up. Like, it's really hard for me to believe. It's really hard for me to believe that he studied Justin Gaethje. Like, did you do any homework on this nigga? Did you not hear about what other people had to say about him? Why are you so arrogant that when you hear motherfucking Hall of Famers like Khabib say, yo, this motherfucker hit like a truck? Why didn't that register in your mind? I got to be a bit more calculated. I got to be a bit more strategic. Why? Because you thought you was just on a different level to Khabib? Because guess what, nigga? You're not. Especially after last night, you're not. You're not. So, Topuria got some shit obviously he got some shit to heal from. That nigga was looking like Alf. You ever seen that motherfucking puppet named Alf? I think the nigga had his own show or whatever. That nigga nose all swollen, face all, eyes all dark. And what was that nigga name? Alf. He was like a little puppet and shit. That's exactly how Topuria looked in there. Nose all swollen and shit. Y'all go ahead and Google Alf, ALF. That's exactly how Topuria was looking. Looking bad, then the motherfucking face all broken up. His brother all holding on to him and shit. Man, listen, bro. And y'all notice I ain't talking shit about Alex Pereira. Guess what? Alex Pereira, I ain't hear that nigga talking shit. He probably was in his language. I ain't really hear nothing. I ain't see a level of arrogance from Alex Pereira. I just seen a motherfucker who took a chance. And guess what? He came up short. Alex Pereira made some miscalculations in this fight. First of all, Alex, you're not a heavyweight. Niggas saying all this weird shit, saying that you got motherfucking BBL and all. I don't know nothing about that. I wasn't looking at the nigga ass to know. But one thing I am going to say is, bro, you not no real heavyweight. You was at middleweight. You was a big middleweight. You know what I mean? You did your thing at 205. I think that's more of your weight, to be honest with you. Why are you coming in heavier than the nigga who was a career heavyweight in Cyril Gane? Why are you heavier than him? Was you just so excited to gain weight? Did you just want to be a bigger guy than him? Because regardless of what you do, you're not bigger than him. You're not stronger than him. And I think Alex may have been feeling himself, or at least believing in his power, him feeling like he could bang with Cyril Gane, because Cyril Gane is more of a stand-up fighter. You know, he'll be there for certain shots and shit like that. But Cyril Gane was just too smooth, too fast, too strong. The nigga got put down with a jab. And what made the jab even more devastating was the fact that Alex ran into the shot. Yeah, you got put down with a jab. Yeah, nigga, yo, let me put my fist out, and then you run full force at it, and you see if that shit hurt. While you're running full force at me, I'm gonna pop my jab, and let me see if that shit hurt you. I bet you it rock your shit. I bet you it rock your shit. Now imagine getting, and I'm not no heavyweight. I'm a welterweight at best. Now imagine a genuine 240, 250 pound nigga rotating a jab while you full force running into the shot. You gonna feel that shit. Now, were some of the shots that Cyril Gane was shooting behind the head? Yeah, there was some shots that was illegal, but I've seen a lot of shots that also hit him on the side of the head, from what I understand is legal. And guess what? Gane shouldn't be getting shit talked about him for that. That's the referee fault. The referee there, that's who's supposed to call it. Cyril Gane might have just blacked out and was trying to just get Alex up out of there because he knew he had him hurt. Fighters not always like in this sound state of mind. Sometimes they see red. Sometimes they lose track of they lose focus of what they're doing, and they just get into this mode. It's the referee's job to bring that motherfucker back down to earth and tell them that what you're doing is not legal. But y'all real fighting, right? Oh, shit. Whenever it comes to boxing, oh, y'all niggas got all these rules. But y'all complaining about niggas getting hit behind the head. If y'all so motherfucking hardcore, if y'all niggas so motherfucking hardcore, oh, this real fighting right here, why you worried about niggas getting hit in the back of the head? Why you worried about niggas getting hit in the back of the head? Y'all some hardcore MMA niggas, right? That should be light for y'all. But anyways, we're going to get into that later on. The Cyril Gane hitting behind the head in certain instances, yes. Should the referee have said something about it? Yes. However, a lot of shots, especially the ones that hurt Alex Pereira, happened on the side of his head as well. Just go ahead and look at it. Some elbows was probably stirred a little further back of the head, but for the most part, I've seen a lot of shots cracking the temple, and that's why Pereira was as hurt as he was. And even after that, the finish wasn't from those shots behind the head. It was from him landing clean shots and him falling against the cage. Right? And I want to address this comment right here. Gecko Kid Marco, what's going on, brother? He says Pereira was walking around at 230 when he was a middleweight. He is naturally a heavyweight. You're wrong, brother. You're wrong. Just because you walk around at a weight does not mean that you are of that weight class. There have been moments in my life where I've been 200 pounds. You telling me when I was fighting at 152, are you telling me that I'm naturally a cruiserweight, brother? Because guess what? I'm not. You know who's a fucking cruiserweight? Niggas like Jai Opatai, David Benavidez, Gilberto Ramirez. Bro, I am not them. Just because you walk around at a weight does not mean you belong at that weight class. Right? And we seen, and if you're saying that Pereira was walking around 230, why did he come in 250 to fight Alex Pereira? I mean, to fight Cyril Gane. And walk around weight is not in shape weight. I can't box at my full potential. I can't box at my full potential. and, you know, be 200 pounds? Hell no. We almost got MAZUMA versus Benavidez. That's hilarious. I want zero smoke with David Benavidez. I want an autograph and a picture. That's one of my favorite fighters. Love David Benavidez. Shout out to the Mexican monster. Gecko replies, but he's 6'4" though. So let me ask you something, because this isn't height classes, this is weight classes, right? So based off of what you telling me, is Sebastian Fundora supposed to be a heavyweight? He's 6'6". He taller than most heavyweights. Is he a heavyweight? No. Just because you have the height that a lot of heavyweights are around does not mean that you're associated with that weight. Albert Bell is 6'1", and he's a 135. What is he? Is he supposed to be a super middleweight? No, not at all. Just because you are that tall does not mean that you belong, that you're just this natural heavyweight. Alex Pereira blows up in weight like a lot of mixed martial artists do. They said Ilia Topuria was walking around 200 pounds. Bro, why are you 5'6" walking around at 200 pounds? Nigga, there's running backs in the NFL who the same height as you that don't weigh as much as you. Who the fuck you think you are? I know what Fundora built like, brother. I'm just saying, like, just because he's that height does not mean he belongs in no heavyweight division. That's all I'm saying. It's a good height. But I think it clearly showed, like, the motherfucker, like, Pierre got on scale and even have abs. I'm almost willing to bet that Alex Pereira didn't really diet for this fight. That nigga looked like he was on some Emmanuel Navarrete diet. Nigga just ate whatever he wanted. Like, he looked fat in the ring. And Cyril Gane, in my opinion, looked like the bigger man, as he should have. Pereira's not a heavyweight, but I could respect Alex Pereira for taking a chance. I can respect him for taking a chance. He ain't no hoe. You feel me? And I ain't hear him talk crazy. I seen that man prepare as well as he could for the situation. But like I said, you live and you learn. He took the chance. He came up short. That don't change anything. Alex Pereira he's a superstar. He got a fan base. He's a 205, man. He's a 205. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody got their limits, man. I'm just glad that John Jones ain't get his hands on Pierre. Because John Jones would have got them stem cells in his hips, like he said, got that full mobility back, trained his ass off, and would have choked Pierre to fuck to death. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into this next segment because, I'm not an MMA channel. I don't ever intend on becoming an MMA channel. Boxing is my shit. Boxing is my baby. I'm here to stay for boxing. I ain't one of these channels that, get all they clout, get all their attention on boxing. They're like, oh, fuck boxing. We're just gonna talk MMA now. No, we're not doing that. But what I want to address, because I got into it with this dude Wade Clemens on Twitter earlier today. I had to put the boy in the air fryer. I had to, man. Like, these niggas be thinking because they big channels that they could try to, I'm not gonna say talk down on us because he definitely wasn't talking down on me, but pretty much try to call me a liar. I'm like, bro, I don't know who you think you talking to, nigga, because yeah, you might have a bigger platform, but you can't talk this shit like me. And I say that shit just about everybody. And the niggas who can talk that shit about me, like me, the niggas who can talk that shit like me, we usually see eye to eye on a lot of shit. So one thing about me, Mark, I don't say shit about people unless I know definitively. And if I say something and I don't know for sure, I mention it. Right? So this nigga Wade Clemens, I never really paid attention to dude. He came out of nowhere, to be honest with you. And he has some shit called the Wade effect or the Wade concept. He got some shit, some type of name. And apparently he like boxed before with like Misfits. And, he's one of those guys. So, I thought I could have sworn that he was a boxing guy. But apparently he's like one of these pro MMA guys that finds ways to try to shit on boxers. So let me go ahead and share the screen for the people to see, just to show us, just to show y'all the interaction. Shout out to Stop Motion MMA. What's going on, brother? Anonymous, what up? Stop Motion said, you ain't Teddy Atlas. That's a fact. Teddy Atlas. I bet you Teddy Atlas trying to find his way back around now because boxing had a moment where we was dipping a little bit and MMA was on the come up. Oh man, why boxing can't get us the big fights that we want? MMA gives us big fights all the time. Teddy Atlas like, man, but boxing, niggas spitting everywhere and shit. But MMA gives us all the fights we want. And I was like, all right, nigga, go, bye. You know what I mean? Now boxing on the up and shit, MMA on the downhill, in my opinion. Teddy Atlas want to crawl his little turkey neck ass around. Niggas, stay where the fuck you at, bro? I can't stand a flip-floppy ass niggas. Niggas be acting like Wallow 267. Whenever somebody win, he go find a jersey and shit. I was a fan of them the whole time. Nigga, no, you wasn't, bro. You just switch. Nigga pulled a switcheroo every time. Goofy ass. Anyways, let's get into this. So, this is the initial tweet that I saw. And whenever I get on Twitter and I see fuckery, a lot of the times I ignore it. But, if I got some time on my hands like I did at 6 in the morning today, I respond. So this was Terence Crawford's tweet. He said, this the guy that said he would knock me out and whoop me in Shakur at the same time. Yeah, that's exactly who that was in Ilia Topuria, right? And, Terence Crawford was there. And Ilia had a lot to say about Terence Crawford in the past. And one of the things I vividly remember is Topuria saying that he would whoop Crawford ass in a boxing ring. So here's Wade Plemons running to Ilia Topuria's defense. And he says, I'm about tired of boxers acting like they rule combat sports when they won't leave their discipline to prove it. Point one, when has Terence Crawford ever said they rule combat? That boxing ever ruled combat sports? Actually seen Terence Crawford say that he trained with a lot of guys that come up in the UFC. He trained at the UFC Institute. He actually puts a lot of respect on MMA artists' name because he said he ain't getting kicked by no niggas. Like, it's a different world. He not cut for that world. I actually seen Crawford say it, put a lot of respect on MMA fighters' names. One thing about Bud is you're not going to talk shit about him and expect him not to respond or react. Wade Plemons goes on to say, Bud knows how to wrestle. Shakur even claimed Bud would beat Ilia in an MMA fight. Nigga, Shakur Stevenson said that Sugar Ray Robinson was mid. Who the fuck are like, we just go hold fucking Shakur Stevenson's fucking opinion to, this all-time great status. This nigga said Tyson Fury was better than Muhammad Ali. Why do we give a fuck about what Shakur Stevenson has said? Great fighter, but the nigga has had L takes religiously. So look at him using that as a way to try to come up with some type of point. They says, but Crawford would never do that, and we all know why. He'd get demolished. Y'all bitter MMA niggas, like fighters and fans, like, nigga, we know that boxers can't go to the octagon, but guess what? We don't ask to go to the octagon. Since when do boxers ever, especially at the top of the game, be like, you know what? I'm going to go to MMA now. Nigga, never. You know why? Because they're in a better situation. Who the fuck would go from a better situation to a fucked up situation? Now, I remember Clarissa Shields, Amanda Serrano, and that money wasn't right in boxing. They had to go over to MMA. But as soon as they got the money right and niggas started pumping money into female boxing, they said, man, fuck the octagon. We going back. You feel what I'm saying? I see James Toney, when he needed a couple dollars, he went and he fought, at MMA, and he took the chance. I seen Ray Mercer knock a nigga out cold in the MMA. Like, stop acting like boxers ain't courageous enough to do it. I see Shannon Briggs fight in K1. So this whole notion that boxers are terrified of getting in the octagon, if y'all niggas was making more money than boxers, I guarantee you see more more boxers taking chances. And just because Bud can wrestle, you see them wrestle a couple niggas at gyms and shit. Like look like his friends and shit. Yo, Bud's a wrestler. Bro. He's never done anything to show you that he's this elite level wrestler. Nigga, I could wrestle, but I don't fucking wrestle well enough to fuck with a Dagestani or fuck with one of these Chechen niggas. Like, cut it the fuck out, bro. I've accomplished more in wrestling than Bud has. Like, but that don't mean that I'm cut for MMA. No, that's not the case. So I went ahead and replied. And I said, Ilia said he would do that to them in boxing. Meanwhile, he gets chopped up on the feet by a non-boxer. That's why Crawford wrote that. Now, one time did Bud ever mention being Ilia MMA? Nobody ever mentioned the rule in combat sports either. You're just chatting, brother. So this is where he kind of threw me off. I'm like, bro, I don't know who the fuck you talking to. But we went ahead and we corrected him ASAP. Now, this black bull eating this motherfucking rap is disgusting, to be honest with you. How you get rid of this? How you nobody want to see this nigga eating this shit, bro. Anyways, he said incorrect. He said a fight. So Wade is calling me a liar, saying that Ilia, basically saying that Ilia never said that he will beat Bud in boxing. So let's continue. Where's my response? Do I have to go find my response? And I seen Bud responding to him too. So let me go ahead and show my reply. Wait. I wrote incorrect. What's this then? So this is Ilia Topuria tweeting. I won't talk about what would happen between me and Crawford in the octagon. I'll talk about what would happen in a ring. I put him to sleep in the first contact. Is that or is that not Ilia Topuria saying that he will beat Bud in a boxing ring? Yes or no? Yes or no? Because you just said that I was incorrect, that Ilia never said that. I show you a fucking tweet where he literally says it. So what are we talking about? Let's proceed. So then I said, incorrect. What's this then? Cut it out, bro. Boxers are never worried about MMA guys. It's always the envious, underpaid MMA fighters that feel the need to speak on boxers, not the other way around. Regardless of whose sport is more limited, we all know which one is more dangerous. Am I lying? Do you ever hear boxers say, man, I want to go to MMA and fuck this nigga up. I want to go to MMA and fuck Conor up. Nah. But you always heard Conor. I think I'm going to go see what's going on with Floyd. I think I'm going to go see what's going on with Floyd. I might have to go over there and box his head in. Remember that shit? Topuria talking shit about Bud, Kamaru, Usman talking about Canelo. It's a pattern. You know why? Because they have to sacrifice their knees, their ankles, their feet, their elbows, their fucking, whatever, their whole body to get paid crumbs. While boxing niggas who only got to use their motherfucking hands get paid a shit tons worth of money and always shows up at the top of the fucking Forbes list. That's why y'all mad. But guess what? Y'all don't come over here. Like, I don't never hear y'all niggas talk about kickboxers. I don't never hear y'all niggas talk about Muay Thai fighters. I don't hear y'all niggas talk about nobody but boxing niggas. So clearly, y'all have some sort of animosity for boxers. And I see why. When you see bum-ass niggas like Conor Benn get paid $15 million while y'all considered fucking all-time great legends, Hall of Famers in the UFC, and y'all barely got 2 pennies to rub together, I can see why y'all be upset. And then it's Dana giving this nigga an 8-figure payday. Meanwhile, this nigga struggling to find a reason to give you $1 million. I get it. I'd be upset too. But guess what? Coming at boxers for the reason why y'all struggling to get the compensation that y'all deserve, y'all going in the wrong direction. To be honest with you, y'all should be looking to have boxers be y'all allies so they can help support you and getting that pay that you deserve. Them boxers cool as shit with Dana White right now. I just seen Edgar Berlanga singing his song, dancing with Dana, and Richardson Hitchens there, all just being a little bro, being all happy. I see Conor Benn always smiling with Dana White. Y'all should be looking to be friends with these niggas so they could put something in Dana White's ear to hopefully change his mind about that little model y'all got over there at MMA. Which y'all should be doing. Y'all mad that Dana White only ever let McGregor step off the porch so he could go make $100 million real quick to go fight Floyd? And ever since then, this nigga Conor McGregor barely want to fucking be in the octagon because he enjoying his boxing money. Nigga got a Lambo yacht and shit like that. He made it. Fuck y'all niggas. So for real, the nigga that y'all supposed to be mad at, y'all ain't never got that energy for. But with boxers, oh, man, they pussy, man. Yeah, man, that's not real fighting. That's not real fighting. Nigga, the fight is so real that between 10 to 13 people die a year. While y'all barely experience one death a year in MMA. The fuck you mean this limited fighting? Nigga, we don't need elbows. We don't need knees. Niggas die in there, bro. CTE, brain hemorrhages, comas, vegetables, nigga. The fuck you mean this ain't, that's not real fighting? If it ain't, then what is? Just because y'all got more things to resort to in MMA, and I mean, don't mean that y'all the definition of real fighting. Man, cut it the fuck out. Half y'all niggas go in there and get slumped anyway. If it's so fucking limited, if boxing is, is such, if y'all fighting is so much more, real, it's really true form of fighting. Why is it so difficult for y'all to transition to boxing? Because if it's such a limited form of fighting, and all forms of fighting, it should be easier for y'all, right? And y'all got rules anyway. Y'all was just bitching about a nigga getting hit in the back of the head. If y'all niggas is real fighting, if this is like a true form of fighting where there's no rules, bro, every combat sport has rules. Cut it the fuck out. Cut it the fuck out. But if we were to fight in the street, bro, who cares? Who cares? Nigga, y'all, look at y'all. Underestimating nigga, just like Topuria did. And look what happened to him. Nigga looking like Alf, the fucking puppet. Underestimate niggas all day as if y'all known for being chinny too. Like y'all talk about boxers being divas and bro, y'all known for being chinny. Y'all get hit clean and y'all go to sleep. Shots that's not even fully turned over, putting y'all niggas lights out. And y'all assume that a nigga can't catch it. Like I just love how they think like, oh well, if they swing the punch, I'm just gonna shoot for the take. Nigga, what if the punch land before you get to the takedown? What if they step back while you doing a motherfucking takedown and they lift you up with an uppercut, nigga, or catch you with a right hand or catch you with a left hook? Now what? You gonna be able to take that shot? I don't know. So I hate to have this little back and forth with MMA, bro, but every chance they get, they always saying some shit about boxing. Oh, it's a limited form of fighting. MMA is too. Y'all might have more things to gravitate towards and more different varieties of martial arts to, fall back on. But bro, all these combat sports have rules. They're all limited to an extent. Y'all just happen to have a little bit more leeway than us. That don't mean that y'all a more true form of fighting. How y'all so, bro? This is what I'm trying to understand. Y'all niggas so gangster. Y'all sport so fucking dangerous. But y'all niggas ain't ranked as the most difficult sport in the world. Go look up go on Google world's most difficult sports. And ESPN is going to have a fucking well-researched project that they did. And go look at which one is number one. And go look at where MMA's at. And then get back to me. To be fair, there's a huge difference due to glove sizes. MMA uses, I think they use 4-ounce gloves, 3-ounce gloves, 4-ounce gloves. It don't matter. What I'm talking about is the technique on the punches. The technique on the punches. And Daniel Cormier will tell you, he said, man, boxers punch so much harder. He only sparred them. He said they punch so much harder than MMA fighters. So regardless of the glove size, getting punched by a boxer, you get punched by an MMA guy, it's not the same. Not saying that MMA fighters don't have no power. We got Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis and all these big knockout artists and shit like that. But one of the main focal points of boxers is they know how to properly turn a shot over. The beef is hella one-sided. That's all I'm saying. I heard niggas even say that boxing is not dangerous. It's a limited for the fight. That's not true fighting. Bro, why, if that's the case, why y'all niggas barely catch a body yearly in MMA and we get double-digit bodies? People dying in boxing yearly, between 10 to 13 people die on average in boxing. And y'all barely crack one death a year in MMA. That's another thing. For MMA having such limited rules and it being such a true form of fighting, y'all niggas do get hella premature stoppages. Y'all short, man. That ref be ready to, before shit start really getting real, they stop that shit. Half the time, y'all niggas in boxing, they had to let that shit keep going. Bro, y'all niggas get cracked clean like 3-4 times. The ref already jumping in. That shit a light day. That shit a light day over here. I see Shane Mosley get hit with more clean shots. Shane Mosley Jr. get hit with more clean shots against Jesus Ramos than any of y'all MMA niggas. If they would have put Jesus Ramos and Shane Mosley in the octagon, that nigga would have got stopped in like 20 seconds. There's way more premature stoppages in boxing and MMA. Cap. That's super cap. That's cap. You must not watch MMA often. Just seeing one with Usyk. Okay. But look how far back you got to go to bring up an example. Rolly versus Grandpa. You don't even know the nigga name. You got to be more respectful, brother. The name is Ismael Barroso. Who the hell is Wade Plumer? Oh shit. Let me proceed. I completely forgot about this nigga. And then look, he tried to change because you said that I was incorrect in that. Basically, Ilia Topuria never said that. So I showed you the screenshot to show that you're a fucking liar. And he said, this was after the discussion of them in a fight, which the boxers meant as a boxing match. Ilia responded with an actual fight. Check Aiden Raw stream. I don't need to check Aiden Raw stream. So what I did was pulled up another, shout out to the AI, you know, that shit, that Google shit. I said, how did Ilia Topuria and Crawford beef start? The beef between Ilia Topuria and Terence Crawford started in September 2025 when Topuria publicly challenged the undisputed boxing champion to a boxing match, claiming he would put him to sleep on the first contact. The initial call-out, UFC champion Topuria declared that he wouldn't fight Crawford in an MMA cage, but offered to box him, promising a first-round knockout. God damn. God damn. But this was after the discussion of them in a fight. Man, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut your mouth. He wrote again. So he acted like he made some type of point the first time. Again, Ilia would never beat Bud in a boxing ring. Never said he would. Bud has no business clowning him. See, this is what he got upset with. Bud has no business clowning him for losing an MMA fight, which he would never do, but they're somehow acting like it means anything if he to how he do Ilia in a fight. So basically, because Bud is a boxer and Ilia Topuria is an MMA fighter, and a boxer won't go over to MMA, that Bud shouldn't shit on him losing. So only MMA fighters can make fun of other MMA fighters for losing. Like, nigga, shut the fuck up. Like, and then you telling another nigga how to react. And I said, and who are you to tell Crawford how he's supposed to react? Topuria said he put Crawford to sleep in the ring. When you talk like that about another fighter, you don't get to dictate their response. when things don't go your way. If you throw shots, be prepared to take some back. Simple and plain. How the fuck you look? You talking shit about a nigga. He talking shit. Saying what you would do to him in a boxing ring. Pretty much saying like, man, I beat you in. Imagine telling an all-time great like Bud that shit. Oh, I'll knock you out in the first round. I'll knock you out in the first round. And I'm an MMA fighter. Then you get your ass whooped in MMA striking with a nigga who's not a boxer. So Bud was supposed to just shut the fuck up and just keep his head down because, you know, he doesn't want to go to MMA. So don't disrespect the MMA fighter. Man, shut the fuck up. But if a boxer loses and an MMA fighter talks shit about him losing, then you know it's okay because MMA is true fighting. Like y'all niggas be dicky or whatever Conor McGregor be telling y'all. Because the first nigga I ever heard say that, you know, boxing's not true fighting. You know, it's not true fighting. MMA is true fighting. You know, when we hit the elbows and the orbital bones. It's like, nigga, shut the fuck up, bro. Conor McGregor whole swag built on boxing. Y'all niggas stay talking shit about boxing, but some of the most prominent figures that ever come out of mixed martial arts have boxing bases. GSP, one of the greatest of all time, boxing base. Nigga used to train with Freddie Roach. Fucking Anderson Silva, prime Anderson Silva. This nigga base was boxing. This nigga he had a pro fight prior to, you know, being a mixed martial artist and all that, or at least around the time he was a mixed martial artist. Yeah, Conor McGregor, when he was at his peak, he was known for boxing. Still, like, what the fuck are we even talking about? Rampage is just sitting, you know, he could slam niggas and all that, but he like to bang with niggas. That's what he like to do. Chuck Liddell, same shit. Like, y'all niggas, for y'all talking so much shit about boxing, y'all are highly influenced by boxing. Some of y'all most successful fighters of all time really did well in their careers by using boxing and they style. So niggas just be looking stupid. So, you know, of course, he didn't respond to that. He was getting ratioed on the majority of these tweets. You know, niggas knew I had a point. He was trying to downplay me, making it seem like I didn't know what I was talking about. The screenshot said otherwise, though, and, you know, he got emotional and said how a boxer should react. But basically, a boxer has no right to make fun of an MMA fighter for losing because they'll never get in the octagon, as if they have to. They don't have to. MMA fighters have to come to boxing, not the other way around. If Dana White started to pay these niggas what they were actually worth, we probably wouldn't even be hearing this back and forth between boxing and MMA. But it's clearly one-sided beef. MMA fighters are clearly bitter, but y'all taking y'all feelings out on the wrong motherfucker. If y'all so tough, if y'all so courageous, why don't y'all talk shit to the nigga who's underpaying y'all? I bet y'all won't. Y'all ain't that tough. Y'all ain't that tough. Y'all so tough, but when it's time to go up against the pink man, y'all ain't gonna do it. So miss me with that bullshit. Shout out to Francis Ngannou, though. You know, only one to have enough balls to say fuck the UFC and do his own shit. You know what I mean? If y'all niggas want change, what Denzel Washington said, change our world. Actually, I'll tell you what. I know y'all got certain laws, you know what I mean? The Muhammad Ali Act don't apply to y'all and shit like that. So, you know, the sport is basically built, it's structured. It ain't broken. It was built that way to fuck y'all over. So certain rules, certain laws don't help y'all at all whatsoever. It's almost like MMA fighters don't really have no laws that benefit them. But I guarantee y'all, if y'all went against the system, y'all could create some change because y'all the ones that's generating the bread, not Dana White. Niggas don't tune in to watch Dana White talk. They come to see y'all niggas fight. Next gen, you talking about Floyd avoiding Manny? You don't, bro. You don't know shit about boxing, bro. This nigga just feed into whatever narratives he heard back in the day. Like if you really did your research and you came to the conclusion that Floyd avoided Manny Pacquiao, you don't know what the fuck you talking about, bro. Muhammad Ali act only in America. I think it's only for boxers. I don't think those laws apply to MMA fighters because I don't think MMA fighters could see the books. I don't think they can extra transparency on events and shit like that. Talking about that's your opinion. No, I can actually provide the actual factuals to really show you that Floyd Mayweather didn't avoid the fight with Manny Pacquiao. It was actually the opposite. But because, you know, the media always turns against the black athlete, black people black fighters are the one that usually get criticized. But it is what it is. He said, nigga, clown could point. Yeah, Floyd and Tank, there is no comparison at all. Yeah, Muhammad Ali Act is only for boxing. Yep. Gecko Kid Mark, because of corrupt promoters like Don King. That's another narrative that I don't like, man. Like whenever you think about the media, the media and the higher ups was able to brainwash the people to believe that whenever you think about corrupt promoters, think of Don King. Because believe it or not, Don King was a black promoter, one of the greatest promoters of all time. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. And he was black, he was flashy, flamboyant, outspoken. You know what I'm saying? And they hated the fact that he was taking over the sport of boxing. Next gen talking about Olympic style testing, like he dictates shit. He do, dumbass. The fuck you talking about? That's Floyd Mayweather, dumbass. Floyd was the one that was offering the bread. He was the A side. The fuck? He was never Pacquiao was never a bigger star than Floyd. The fuck you mean? Like he dictates shit? That's exactly what he do. He earned it. The fuck? Just like when Floyd offered Pacquiao $40 million, he turned it down and said he wanted 50-50 and then hung up the phone. Then when he started offering Olympic style drug testing, Pacquiao was trying to avoid that shit at all costs. Who do that? Who do that? Because I tell y'all right now, if Floyd would have did that shit, if Pacquiao would have offered that shit, if Floyd turned it down, we all know what the fucking rumor will be. Oh, that nigga Floyd. There's a lot of, bro. I want to do a video where I just destroy all these bullshit narratives that boxing has built up over time. I'm gonna tell you something. To go back to that Don King shit, nigga, all these promoters corrupt. All of them. They just use Don King as the face of it because they don't want you to know that they all crooked. So let's put a black man up there to let you know that he's a fucking crooked individual. And Don King did do some fucked up shit. But guess what? He also got a lot of motherfuckers paid. He got a lot of motherfuckers paid. As much bad shit as that you hear about Don King, you can also find a lot of good things about Don King as well. All these promoters got pros and cons, but guess what? I guarantee you that shit. Just about every promoter that's at the top of the game right now done fuck the fighter over it too. But because Don King was at the top of the game and he was very influential, very powerful, you know what I'm saying? Them motherfuckers, them pink people. I ain't gonna really say their name, you know what I mean? Because you say their name, that shit's like Yeah, I mean, you know, they real uptight about when their name get mentioned, but y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know who I'm referring to. Uh, you know, they didn't like the fact that a black man was in a power position. They try to do the same shit to Al Heyman. Remember when Al Heyman was, you know, getting all the big fighters and he was doing all the big events and he didn't need their help? What they do? Sued him, said that he was trying to run a monopoly in boxing because he was that powerful, he was that influential. And this was a nigga who didn't say a fucking word. You can't find an Al Heyman interview anywhere on this fucking planet. This is a man who stayed behind the scenes and made shit happen. But because I was a black man, because you peep Turkey Al Sheiks, you know, powerful than a bitch. You don't see nobody talking shit about him. Ain't nobody talking, and they ain't even take that nigga. They only took that nigga a couple of years to be one of the biggest things in boxing. Nigga just start putting his money everywhere, and they like, oh man, His Excellency, His Excellency, His Excellency. But y'all wouldn't dare call a black man that. You wouldn't dare call a black man that. You would never say His Excellency Al Heyman. You would never say that. Y'all wouldn't find the fucking courage to spit that shit out into the world. But when it come to that motherfucker, that same motherfucker over there, oh yeah, y'all niggas going, yeah. Only nigga I heard talk crazy to Turkey was Teofimo, and he apologized immediately so he could stay on his payroll. Arum didn't believe in Floyd. That doesn't make him corrupt. He is, though. Now, Bob Arum definitely got a history of being corrupt. Like, he done been investigated by the FBI for rigging fights and all types of shit. They was So you mean to tell me Bob Arum done spent, I don't know how many years in the game, and he just been clean and just stand-up businessman this whole time? No, they all crooked. They all crooked. Y'all promoters that y'all be kissing ass too, bro. I've had fighters come to me and be like, yo, this nigga done got me out of a couple bands. You know what these promoters do? Heyman paid in increments. That's not true, brother. I've had fighters that directly dealt with Al Heyman and every fuck. See, this is what I know about Al Heyman. Let me tell y'all. He paid in increments to motherfuckers who have been part of pay-per-views, because one thing about pay-per-views, they don't give you the full amount right away. So whenever he gets the money, he hands it over, because pay-per-views, you know, it takes a while to calculate all of the fucking numbers and get that money back. So, you know, you could be chilling one day. Let's say you did a pay-per-view that did 1 million pay-per-view buys, or whatever the case is. You might not get the full amount of the pay-per-view buys until like being 24 to 36 months in. You could be chilling one day, not even thinking about that, you know, that pay-per-view money, and then you get a check in the mail for $300,000. Like, that's how I heard shit works with these pay-per-view things. It's a complicated situation, but these niggas get paid off of it. Now, let me tell y'all something about Al Heyman that a lot of people don't know. Al Heyman, anybody that I ever heard do business with, always praise Al Heyman. I've heard Al Heyman on phone calls with promoters. They all love Al Heyman. Al Heyman is such a generous guy. Let me tell y'all something. I still have yet, out of all the promoters that I've worked with, I have yet to get treated better than I've been treated at PBC. Their hospitality is 10 out of 10. And I'm not getting paid by PBC. Them niggas ain't giving me no opportunity. Shit. It is what it is. But till this day, I have not been treated better than what I've been treated at PBC. And I've dealt with a lot of promoters in the boxing game. If Heyman was so great, why did his company go to shit within 8 years? Now that I don't know. But one thing I do know is that Heyman took care of his fighters. Look how many of his fighters don't need to really come back to boxing. Abner Mares, he commentated. He don't have to come back to boxing. Fucking Andre Berto, you know what I mean? He don't need to come back to boxing. Danny Garcia, he don't need to come back to boxing. Fucking Leo Santa Cruz, he don't need to come back to boxing. Jamal Charlo, them niggas still living in big ass mansions out in Texas. They got their shit in order. The only nigga I really seen fall off was Adrian Broner, but we all know he did that to himself. And Al Heyman was actually helping save his money, but you know, Broner was like, man, give me my money, bruh. Give me my money, bruh. And I was like, all right, man, here, take it. He was like, oh, where the rest of my money? Bro, I gave it to you already. Can't save everybody. But anyways, what I was saying about Al Heyman was such a generous motherfucker. Stephen Fulton don't need to come back to boxing if he don't want to. Or he's very well off. And that's because of the Errol Spence, nigga, disappeared for damn near 3 years and he ain't care about coming back. He's set for life. You heard Jamal is having issues, probably substance issues. But even then, look, Al's still putting him on cards. He's still getting paid. That nigga AB up again. Let's see how long that lasts, brother. Not wishing on anybody's demise, but with that man having a clear addiction, that's going to destroy whatever blessing he has coming his way. Until he addresses them issues and really fixes himself. They already have been falling out. This nigga AB keep going behind his back, taking money. You know what I mean? And that's not going to last. I'm telling you, that's not going to last. And AB too much of an alcoholic to maintain professionalism. Somebody going to fuck AB up. Remember I told y'all that. Somebody going to fuck AB up because he's so disrespectful. I seen this nigga take somebody's shirt off and blow his nose in the shirt. One of his homies called and said he had to go back home because his wife died in a car accident. And then he said some shit like, well, at least you ain't got to deal with, your baby mama drama no more. Like some crazy shit like that. And AB, he got this boxer reputation, so it scares a lot of these streamers. He going to run into somebody who don't give a fuck and beat his ass. Because AB be drunk to the point where I know he can't defend himself. Nigga, Leo Santa Cruz named his son after Al Heyman. That should tell you everything you need to know. When the fuck you ever heard of a Mexican man naming his kid after a black man? When? Mexicans don't even like black people half the time. But anyways, this is how good Al Heyman is. Al Heyman was the type motherfucker, right? Let's say you a promoter. And he see that you got a card going on where, because Al Heyman had so many fighters at one point that he had to put his fighters, he had to spread his fighters across like different promotional events and boxing events and shit like that. They couldn't all fit on PBC cards. So sometimes, he'll deal with a promoter directly and be like, yo, can I get this fighter on this card and this fighter on this card? Let's say he just wanted one fighter on the card. That nigga Al Heyman will pay for the whole event just because you put one fighter on the card. So not only was he paying his fighter to fight on the card, but everybody else that was on the card. So let's say his one fighter, his fight probably cost $20,000. You get an A side, because when you coming up, the B side guy makes more money than the A side guy. So let's say the A side fighter made $10,000, and then the B side fighter made $15,000. That's 25 racks that he just spent right there. But guess what? Because he was so generous, and because you were willing to help him out, this nigga pay for the whole card, so the promoter don't got to pay shit just because you looked out for one of his fighters. So let's say the whole budget of the card is $60,000. I'll put in the bread up. How much is the budget for your card? Oh, it's this much. $60,000. All right, I'll pay for the whole thing. Damn. That's why niggas love Al Heyman. Al Heyman had good intentions, because at the end of the day, his brother was a former professional boxer. He got fucked over by the game, and Al Heyman was in the music industry, and he was behind a lot of successful business situations in the music industry. Like I heard, like he was responsible for like the what was that? I could be wrong, but like Al Heyman was behind like the Eddie Murphy. What was that shit called? Let me see. He co-promoted Eddie's he co-promoted Eddie Murphy's historic Raw comedy tour. That's like one of the fucking biggest comedy tours of all time. Did he do something with Thriller? Let me see. Let me see. Well, whatever. I just know he was very successful. That's why Drake was like, Al Heyman checks. All of my event. Man, Al Heyman made sure niggas got paid. Yeah, I think he did something with Michael Jackson. I forgot exactly what it was. I thought he did the Thriller tour, but it said that he didn't. So I don't know. Stop Motion said he's a music guy, but his boxing promotion failed. I think you speaking too soon, brother. I think you speaking too soon. The niggas is still around. They still doing events. You know, they might be on the decline right now. They may be still trying to figure some shit out, but I think you speaking too soon because from what I heard, PBC gonna make some moves soon. So I don't think they story finished yet for you to make that assumption. Al Heyman served as the promoter for Michael Jackson's historic 1987 Bad World Tour. Okay. There's actually a picture of Al Heyman and Michael Jackson together. That's dope. That's dope. It's a wrap. 6 events per year is fucking terrible. Okay. I don't think they story's finished yet, man. David versus Zordo, Fondora versus Keith, Ryan and Mario, Earl versus Zoo. They like I said, I think we gotta sit back. Al Heyman always got something up his sleeve, so let's see. They definitely on the downside of things right now. This nigga Next Gen still in the chat. Next Gen, do you post content often, bro? Do you post content? Next Gen? De La Soul know what he talking about. That's all I'm gonna say. No, and I recently been working a lot. Thank God. Do yourself a favor and just keep working, brother. Do us a favor, Next Gen. Don't make content. Just keep working, brother. Save this shit for us. It's like I'm just fucking around. Somebody appreciate what you do, bro. Sorry. Oh man. I just know that if the PBC ever sign with the zone gonna make them niggas fight, boy. The zone ain't playing that shit no more. Like, nigga, you know, we hold all the keys to this shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We giving y'all money and y'all niggas fucking up this bread. So guess what? You ain't getting this bread unless you give us X, Y, and Z. That's what the zone did. I respect them for that. I wish HBO was more, firm with that. They still be around. Showtime. I wish they was more firm with their bread. Like, why would you trust promoters with a budget? And when they clearly be protecting certain fighters and be over marinating fights and all of that shit, just hoping that they get a big cash out at the end of the day. Why would you give them niggas millions of dollars and then just expect they have your best intention? Fuck that. I'm like, you want this bankroll, nigga? The Zone, that's what the Zone told Top Rank. When the Zone, when Top Rank signed with the Zone, they were like, you want this bankroll, nigga? Xander got to fight Boots. We got to make this fight. Virgil not available. He found his way out of this motherfucking fight. Them niggas in court, but guess what? Xander available. We need to get a fight for Boots now. All right, we'll take them. We'll sacrifice Xander. Just give us the money. Some niggas, the Zone was like, you want a network, nigga? You want a network, nigga? You want a budget? You gotta give up Xander. But he could be the next Puerto Rican star. You want this bankroll, nigga? That's exactly what happened. PBC has never made an all-time great fighter. I mean, they had Floyd. PBC literally responsible for the biggest fight in boxing history. Several. Boots and Xander sold out already? No, but there's definitely not that many tickets available. Floyd was produced by Top Rank. I mean, he was produced by Top Rank, but Top Rank didn't maintain him and take him to superstar level, nor make him an all-time great. It wasn't until he started working with Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer that Floyd slowly but surely started to become an all-time great. Al Heyman is PBC. And I think at one point in time, Richard Schaefer was PBC too. I know they was working closely together, and I think Richard Schaefer fell back after the Golden Boy incident. Nah, you said all-time great, brother. Stop motion. You said all-time great. It's a difference between prospect, the world champ, to all-time great. You said PBC never produced the all-time great. Al Heyman produced the all-time great with Floyd. That's the biggest nigga, the biggest GOAT of the last few eras in the last 25 years. David Benavidez has potential to be an all-time great. Yeah, I just think that, I mean, he got the accolades. He just needed to deepen the resume. He got to deepen the resume, that's all. I mean, you're going to have to go after Bivol, go after Better Beef if he's still around, get rid of him. Jai Opatai. Just keep winning, I guess. You got to see what's available. Floyd was already great when they got him, but was he an all-time great? Was he an all-time great? Stop motion. That's a great point that you make. You said Golden Boy made him an all-time great. PBC didn't come around until 2015. Who you think was orchestrating the operations behind the scenes when Golden Boy wasn't around? It wasn't Oscar. It was Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer. That's why when Al Heyman took all of Golden Boy, that's the reason why Al Heyman took all of Golden Boy's fighters, and Oscar didn't know, because whole time Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer was running shit behind the scenes, and Oscar was so busy putting shit up his ass allegedly, and fucking with drugs, that he didn't even know that none of the fighters were signed to him. They were just using Oscar as the face. So when he separated, when he separated from Golden Boy and created the PBC, he took damn near more than half of Oscar's fucking roster with him. The only nigga who stood was Canelo. Well, literally, what I'm gonna say is, Floyd was definitely. He may have possibly already been an all-time great. Was solidify his legacy and left no doubt whatsoever that Floyd was an all-time great. Was the first 48, that Manny Pacquiao fight. But Al Heyman was literally the one. Al Heyman literally the one that got Floyd to that point. As soon as he left Top Rank, he started fucking with Al Heyman. When he was with Top Rank, it was him and Jay Prince. And then, he tried to fuck over James Prince. James Prince wasn't with all that goofy shit. Them niggas went in that Top Rank gym and beat all the Floyd peoples up. And Al Heyman Bob Arum had to write Jay Prince a check to save Floyd Mayweather ass. Niggas don't know about that. He tried to fuck Jay Prince over, nigga. Mob ties, nigga. He tried to fuck with Jay Prince, a fucking savage. Why would you do that? Why would you try to fuck over Jay Prince? And Bob was like, all right, I'll give his money. I'll give him his money. I'll give him a line of credit. That nigga Floyd said, man, Jay Prince don't do no line of credit. He need cash. Bob Arum had to open that checkbook up and cash Jay Prince out. Because if not, them niggas would have beat the dog shit out of Floyd in there. They said he fucked up a lot of Floyd entourage in that Top Rank gym. So them niggas came with baseball bats and all. I don't know if it's true. It could be cap. But I heard Leonard Ellerbe got his ass whooped over Floyd. That's what I heard. I don't know though. It could be cap. Don't take my word on that. East Town boys put belt to ass. That's what I heard. Yo, Jay, I'm gonna send you the link where Bob Arum was talking about it on ESPN. LB, another PBC cornball. Was crazy as LB not even PBC. He was just the CEO of Mayweather Promotions. He was Floyd's right hand man for a while. Man, like Leonard Ellerbe, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Everybody need a Leonard Ellerbe in their life. Everybody. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can play this shit. I ain't gonna do it because it's ESPN. Come on, man. Bob Arum said he paid 600 racks to settle the beef between James Prince and Floyd Mayweather. Damn. Hold on. Fuck it. I doubt they'll do it because they letting anybody repost the video. So let me play this, John.
Well, whether he was afraid or whether he was just like that. But what did Floyd say to you to get you to write a check?
Smart for that.
But what did Floyd say to you to get you to write a check for $600,000 just like that? Like what specifically Floyd was afraid, yes?
Well, you know, whether he was afraid or whether he was doing the right thing, that's for Floyd to determine. But this was the percentage of Floyd's purse that Prince would have been entitled to as his manager. The
Bob,
difficulty was that the check.
There was blood all over the gym and baseball bats. Like, what do you mean doing the right thing?
Hey,
like, he sounded afraid.
I stopped practicing law a number of years ago. I'm not going to be a judge or jury on this dispute. I'm just telling you what happened.
Okay. Can you tell us about how Elijah Muhammad, is this true? Elijah Muhammad helped you close a deal with Muhammad Ali. Do I have that right?
Yeah, well, before I a year and he's been a man of Prince ahead.
I'm rewinding. I feel like I missed some of it.
Dangerous Houston mandated you to fix that situation. What can you tell us about what happened there?
Well, we were at dinner one night, and I got a call that there was a disturbance in my gym. And Floyd apparently had asked us not to do a fight in October, but to do it in December after James Prince's contract with him had run out. So the disturbance.
That's some grimy shit. Floyd wanted to wait until he wanted to postpone his fight 2 months so Jay Prince wouldn't get paid and his contract with him would expire. So he didn't want Jay Prince to get paid. And I guess Jay Prince peeped the game that Floyd was trying to do, so he made him pay for it.
In my gym was that some people came over with or without the knowledge of James Prince and proceeded to break a couple of heads of people in Mayweather's camp with baseball bats. And so the gym was splattered with blood. And Floyd came to my office the next day and he said, Prince wants his money from the fight that's coming up. So I said to Floyd, fine, if that's what you want, I'll write him a letter of credit. And Floyd said to me, Prince don't do no letters of credit. You better send the cash. So I wrote a check and I made a contract with Prince's lawyer, and he got paid the money that he was said he was entitled to as Floyd's manager.
Well, had Floyd told you anything about
That's what the fuck Floyd get for that snake shit. I cannot stand a snake ass nigga, bro. About to be fucking playing with him like that. Nigga, you trying to fuck that nigga out of 600 racks. So you think he gonna be okay with that? Now all your homies got their ass whooped because you was trying to be greedy, nigga. Should have made Floyd pay for that shit, not motherfucking Bob Arum. That's some fucked up shit. But anyways, man, that's going to be the live for us, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love as always. If I could go ahead and hit the like button on the way out, that'd be very much appreciated. We had a great conversation today. Definitely some great back and forths. I'm looking forward to having the same conversation with y'all tomorrow, and we're going to continue to cook up on what's going on in the boxing world. You see what I'm saying? Y'all go ahead and hit the like, hit the subscribe button on the way out. I'll be back at y'all with another live tomorrow to continue cooking up on what's going on in the boxing world. Until then, I hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.